Hey Beam Tribe, Nick in Ottawa, and today I want to share with you some of my favorite books on movement. So I'm going to share with you 3 books, and I get requests all the time about what books to recommend. And a couple people messaged me the other day, and I realized it might be good to do very informal, brief reviews on some of my favorite books. Because we've got a pretty good library here at TFC head office. But there's definitely books that resonate with me and that I know are my go-tos if I need to read and refresh sort of an understanding of movement or an understanding of a certain topic. So today's 3 books are going to be about movement. So I'm just going to chat briefly about each of them, but these are books that whether you are a health professional or you're just an average person that wants to better understand the realm of movement, right? I think for a lot of us, movement is something we're not getting enough of. I think we all know that. Movement is something that we have a weird definition of as well. I think many people have replaced the word movement with exercise, and along with that comes less of an understanding of how we can get more movement in our lives. Because moving more doesn't mean exercising more. In fact, exercise is only needed if you don't get enough movement, right? It's a supplement. And if you have a good, balanced movement, nutrition diet in your day-to-day life, not only will you feel way better and have a body that functions way better, but you actually don't need to exercise because you can incorporate that exercise supplement into your day throughout your day. And that's how humans are supposed to function. So I got 3 books. First one, Move Your DNA by Katy Bowman. This is an amazing book, and the sequence that I've put these in, I think reflects a good sequence of the order to read them, but realistically, you can read them in any order and they'll do really well. So Move Your DNA is my first recommendation. Katy Bowman has just a magical way of taking complex topics and making them tangible to a person with little background in movement. But like I said, as a health professional, I read this and it blew my mind because it was not, these concepts were not taught to me in physical therapy school, believe it or not, which is very odd. Move Your DNA is it's a core textbook in the Foot Nerd program for a reason, because it's a fantastic primer on getting more movement in your life, the role that movement nutrition plays, and just talking about how the body requires movement in order for your bones to work like they're supposed to and to be dense enough to not break, in order for your blood flow system to function well. There's so many things that are required for movement in terms of optimal function. So Move Your DNA by Katy Bowman, very powerful book, highly recommended. Book number 2 is A Guide to Better Movement by Todd Hargrove. Todd is an awesome writer, and what I really like about this one is this is a really good one if you're having pain. Right? If your movement practice, or if you're a runner, if you do CrossFit or lift weights and you're having pain, this book does an amazing job at helping people understand, the title says The Science and Practice of Moving with More Skill and Less Pain. So he talks a little bit about pain science. He defines movement, talks about how humans go about learning movement as a skill that we acquire over time. And just a really powerful book. I think he gives tangible strategies on how to start moving better, which I think is very important, right? When you read a book, you should not only have a better understanding, but you should also have a bit of guidance on how you can get going in implementing those things. So A Guide to Better Movement by Todd Hargrove, really good book as well. My third one is by one of my favorite authors personally. He's got a bunch of books. His name is Frank Forencich. And my third recommendation is a book called Beautiful Practice by Frank Forencich. And the subtitle is A Whole Life Approach to Health, Performance, and the Human Predicament. What I love about Frank is that he doesn't only talk about movement, although movement is sort of a core element of a lot of his books, but he relates it to life. Like, he talks about movement in the context of life, not in the context of some isolated thing that humans do, but an integral part of our life. And what I like about Beautiful Practice is that he extrapolates the term practice to a much broader definition, right? It's not just about practicing a movement, it's about having a practice, right? Having a daily practice that you find meaning in, that you find purpose in. He ties it into movement, and I really love the way Frank writes. I think he touches on a lot of powerful points. He's a very inspiring writer, has a good understanding of how everything fits in. You know, the integration of all these health concepts fits into our lives, and he talks about it in a very simple way. So Beautiful Practice by Frank Forencich, amazing book. Those are my 3 recommendations for some of my favorite books on movement for someone who wants to start to learn about movement. Movement is one of the 5 pillars of health at TFC for a reason. It's really important. My recommendation is to pick one of those books and create a reading schedule. So piece in 30 minutes each day at a certain time, either before bed or first thing in the morning. Read 30 minutes, but then think about how you can implement those concepts in your life. Hopefully you enjoyed that brief review, and I'll be doing more of these in future as people start to inquire more and more about books related to different pillars or different topics. Thanks for watching.